Rahul Srivastava, National Affairs Editor, joins us. Rahul, you've been speaking to various senior leaders in the central BJP. How are they viewing the developments in Maharashtra? Are they confident that the Shiv Sena, Congress, NCP government is about to crack under its own pressures? Or could there still be a chance that Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray are able to save this government?
See, Rahul, the BJP is not going to show its hands openly in this crisis. It is providing asylum protection to the MLAs, trying to ensure that Mr. Eknath Shinde's attempts to get the numbers does not falter because of some pressures from the Shiv Sena. Now, if you see that the perhaps first attempt to create a sense of legitimacy about this rebel group has started with Mr. Bharat Goravale being appointed as the chief whip, and the whip by Sunil Prabhu of the Shiv Sena being rejected as for calling a meeting has been rejected, and that means that the first attempt for legitimacy is begun. The second bit of legitimacy comes as everybody has said, only when the numbers come crossing that 37 mark, which is critical for Mr. Shinde, because only then there can be a legitimate demand in front of the speaker that we should be identified as a separate group, and we do not defy the anti-defection law, primarily because the NCP's deputy speaker right now holds the cards. Because if Mr. Sharad Pawar is for the MVA and he tells the deputy speaker that you have to ensure that these people don't take to voting, then it's game over for Mr. Shinde. That is why Mr. Shinde first has to get the numbers. In case there is an adverse action by the deputy speaker, it can go to courts. The issue then eventually has a legitimate right going to the courts and challenging that the deputy speaker is not acting fair as per the constitution norms are concerned. And that is why the BJP wants to protect Mr. Shinde. The fact here is, which is very critical, is what Yashwant has also said. This is not a race, seeming race for power. What they have done this time around, that this is an ideological race that Shinde is raising. So it is also doubtful that all these MLAs who are out in the field, their Karyakartas are also worried that if this alliance is unnatural, 2 years later when this goes to the polls, will it gel with the Congress and the NCP workers? So can there be a very strong upsurge against these MLAs on the ground, even if they come back? That's where the emotional pull is concerned. And I think what Uddhav Thackeray today has done is trying to present a personal side. He's trying to tell the MLAs, I am ready to step down if I've been a party for Hindutva. I think it's an attempt to buy time. And that's where what Rajdeep was saying, it's an attempt to buy time, weaken the Muhim launched by Mr. Shinde, and wait and see that he does not get the numbers. Right now, everybody is trying to keep their frocks together.
So I'm just being told that Sanjay Raut has announced that Uddhav Thackeray will leave the Varsha bungalow and stay at Matoshri. Rajdeep, that essentially means he's leaving the Chief Minister's house, going back to Bala Sahib's house. Now, Bala Sahib's house laced with symbolism. It's also Uddhav Thackeray's current house. But what do you think is the message that Uddhav Thackeray is trying to send through this shifting of residence?
You know, it's very interesting because in the first few months of this government, when Uddhav Thackeray did become Chief Minister, he didn't spend enough time in Varsha, which is the Chief Minister's official bungalow. He used to still live at Matoshri. And one of the criticisms was that he was still sort of, in a way, seeing himself as a Shiv Sena Pramukh and not as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. This is all part of this emotional pitch that, you know, I am not the person who hankers after power. I am really the true heir of Bala Sahib, who was always the remote control. Whoever wants to be Chief Minister can be. This is part of the emotional pitch, not so much to only attract the Shiv Sena MLAs today who are in Guwahati, but the Shiv Sena rank and file. You see, this battle is, yes, an ideology.
Which side is the rank and file on? Rajdeep, your broad sense of which side the rank and file is on right now?
The rank and file clearly has been anxious about this alliance, especially outside Mumbai. Those who are in rural Maharashtra, where their principal opponents are the Congress and NCP, there has been a lot of disquiet. Within Mumbai, I still believe that the Thackeray's will command, as of now, the majority support. In Thane, which is Eknath Shinde's bastion, Eknath Shinde will command a majority support. Look, Uddhav Thackeray is not Bala Sahib Thackeray. If it was Bala Sahib Thackeray, you could have safely said rank and file will fully stand behind the Thackeray family. However, there will be divided loyalties, but I do believe that deep down inside, most Sena workers will not want to see their government toppled. They would ideally like the BJP Shiv Sena to come
No, but
back
the government
together,
doesn't topple.
but
They
would
then
like
are
it
in
to
government
be-
with the BJP. So the government doesn't really topple.
No, so therefore, you see, they don't want Uddhav Thackeray to be humiliated in any form. So while they would be preferring a BJP Shiv Sena government, they don't want to see Uddhav Thackeray humiliated. And therefore, I think Eknath Shinde's rebellion has taken even some of them by surprise, the manner in which it has been done. I think most journalists are also surprised by the numbers that have come with Eknath Shinde. The general belief was 12 MLAs could be firmly with him. That the numbers have increased clearly suggests that the anxiety goes well beyond what most people expected. Now, the challenge again is for Eknath Shinde to retain this hold while openly challenging. He's openly challenging Uddhav Thackeray. Let's be very clear. And until now, whether Chhagan Bhujbal, Narayan Rane, Raj Thackeray, whoever has challenged the Thackerays, they've never had the majority support. This time,
Okay.
Eknath Shinde has shown he's actually, as of today, as of this moment, got a majority of the MLAs there with him in
I'm
Guwahati.
just hearing
As
from
of
Paulami
today,
Saha
Sahil, as
in
of
Guwahati.
today, 34 out of 55.
No,
As
but
of
Rajdeep,
today,
we are
I'm
just
saying.
hearing from Paulami that 4 new MLAs have reached the Guwahati hotel. They are with Chandrakant Patil, and amongst them, Paulami says, is Gulab Rao Patil, Yogesh Kadam. Is that correct, Sahil? Is that your information as well, that more MLAs have reached this Guwahati hotel?
Yes, 3 more MLAs were supposed to reach Guwahati hotel by evening. Yogesh Kadam had already
Okay, they are
reached in the
speaking
morning.
right now.
He was supposed
Sahil,
to
stay with
land
me.
by
Let's
afternoon.
listen in to these new MLAs. No, Sanjay Raut.
मुख्यमंत्री आता वर्षा बंगल्यातून मातोश्रीवर राहण्यासाठी निघालेले आहेत. मोह, माया, सत्ता याचा आम्हाला अजिबात लोभ नाही. आम्ही लढणारे लोक आहोत. आम्ही लढत राहू आणि शेवटी सत्याचा विजय होईल अशा प्रकारची भूमिका आहे. दोन्ही पक्षाच्या प्रमुख नेत्यांनी येऊन महाविकास आघाडीला आणि उद्धव ठाकरे यांच्या संदर्भात ज्या सद्भावना व्यक्त केल्या, मग शरद पवार साहेब असतील, नाना पटोले असतील, अशोकराव चव्हाण असतील, बाळासाहेब थोरात असतील, सकाळी कमलनाथजी होते, आम्ही त्यांचे आभारी आहोत.
राऊत साहेब, जाण्यामागचं कारण काय आहे?
नाही, असं आहे की काही लोकांना वाटत असेल, त्यांनी आपल्या निवेदनात सांगितलेलं आहे की ते मातोश्रीवरती का राहायला चाललेले आहे. मातोश्री हे मूळ स्थान आहे शिवसेना प्रमुखांचं आणि शिवसेनेचं.
कुछ कोई मोह माया हमें नहीं है. हम वर्षा पर नहीं रहना चाहते. इसके लिए मुख्यमंत्री मातोश्री पर जाकर रहने वाले हैं. मातोश्री अब निकले, मातोश्री के लिए वो निकलेंगे और वहां जाकर रहेंगे.